Have you ever played an older Assassin's Creed game and wondered what made the game stand out from its competition? What made the game feel good? I might not be the only one who feels like that older Ubisoft games are good and newer Ubisoft games are completely terrible. And older Ubisoft games felt real. The combat, the parkour, the scenery, the storylines, it all felt good. It might be the bias of nostalgia working on some of us, because for me personally it was a time when I didn't have to worry about paying taxes. All I had to worry about was booting up my console and playing a video game. That was the only concern on my mind, other than going to school and doing homework. So recently I decided to go back and check if my nostalgia was deceiving me or not. And I've realized that it probably wasn't. Most likely, the older Ubisoft games were good because Ubisoft hadn't yet quite discovered the dark magic of microtransactions and the tome of unreleased, unfinished products. You know, they are not making games like they used to. We are starting to sound like our old people, you know, we are starting to sound like our uncles and grandpas who are saying that they don't make the cars like they used to, they don't make the games like they used to. Yeah, I decided to check for myself. I went back and I realized that some of the conclusions that I drew back in the day still are quite right. Assassin's Creed franchise died after the release of Unity. Unity was not a bad game, however, after Unity, slowly it shifted from what it was to something it shouldn't be. The developers haven't ever realized what went wrong. I'm not here to bore you with how many kind words I have to waste about Ubisoft's modern games. There are countless other creators who have far better described the failings of this company. I'm here to convince you to get yourself an older Ubisoft game. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. The game came out nearly 15 years ago and it was one of my favorite games ever. I completed it on 100% on my console and I enjoyed every second of it. So first of all, specs, alright? If you are like me and you do not have a lot of space on your computer, you need your space. And you cannot download any game that is 200 gigabytes all the time, right? On top of that, the game that came out nearly 15 years ago looks awesome. You do not get the graphics of Red Dead Redemption 2, you do not get the graphics of God of War or any other modern game. No, you get something that's not quite as good, but you get something that looks good. Because on the PC, you do not have FPS limit, which makes the game look lively, which makes the game look good, and the colors are very vibrant, and the city and the action, it all looks very natural. I would say it looks damn good. Now, what is the magic of this game? What made it so special? Well, the magic of this game is immersion. Immersion is the key to any media. If you are watching a movie, if you are listening to music, if you are reading a book, what makes it work is immersion. And from my understanding, immersion is something that cannot be forced. You have to create a whole environment and whole set of things to make somebody immersed in your story. And the reason it works here is because the game understands who you are playing as. You're playing as Ezio Auditore da Firenze. Basically, you are the master assassin of your era. You are somebody who is on a mission of revenge. Now, you're basically a Renaissance Italian John Wick. And the bad guys are not the Russian mafia this time, they are the Vatican. And the general of Vatican, Cesare Borgia, he comes inside your house, he kills your dog, who is your uncle in this storyline, and he takes your car, the car being the magical piece of Eden, and he goes back to Vatican. And Rodrigo Borgia, who we defeated in Assassin's Creed 2, and he's like, why did you attack Ezio Auditore? That guy literally came to Vatican, beat me up, the Pope, and he left me alive, told me to live with my failures, took the piece of Eden, and left the city, and we couldn't do anything about him. And now you decided to go to his house, kill his dog, and steal his car. So, yeah, you don't messed up. It's a very simple storyline. You go to Rome, and you liberate parts of the city, you take over the city, you establish your own franchise, you're opening up banks, you're opening up painting shops, you're opening tailor shops, you're opening different kinds of shops throughout the city. And after you open up a lot of different shops, you get a lot of different rewards for it. You are also able to purchase new equipment, and with this new equipment you are able to take out your enemies. And also you are able to build up an army. Well, it's not so much a huge army, it's just a group of individuals who are very capable, and they can take out many enemies in a fight. You are able to recruit other assassins, and that's the Brotherhood comes along. Now, aside of these, the immersion working because of the music, because of the landscape, and because how well the story understands who you are and what kind of a story they are telling, we get amazing writing. And I want to really quickly touch upon the characters as well of this game. There are many of them, and I cannot spend 20 minutes gushing over my favorite character, which is Caterina Sforza. However, I will say that we meet really good cast of characters. We meet Niccolo Machiavelli. Niccolo Machiavelli is a cunning advisor who is always there to give us morally grey but super solid strategical advice, who is going to get really mad because Ezio is never going to follow his advice one-to-one, because Ezio, being a good boy, he follows some morals. At least he has some morality, you know. He may be beating up people on the street, he may be stealing all the money he can, however, he's not killing civilians, alright? And then we also meet many other characters, such as the leaders of the Thieves Guild. We meet the leader of the Mercenary Guild. The Mercenary Guild leader was super fun, very cool character. He doesn't like to think much, he just likes to fight a lot, and that's it. And we also meet, obviously, Caterina Sforza, who is super cool, very well written, strong female character. She has strong set of values, all in all, top tier woman. And we also meet Leonardo da Vinci, we meet Niccolo Copernicus, we meet many characters who you may be familiar with from history. And we are going to also meet the villains of the storyline, who are Lucrezia Borgia, Rodrigo Borgia, and Cesare Borgia. I think this is the ascending order of how dangerous they are. Alright, Lucrezia Borgia, basically being part of the Borgia family, has a lot of influence. She is able to control a lot of men, makes them do her bidding. She is a very pitiful person. She is a very pathetic person, alright? She is desperately in love with somebody who doesn't care for her, and she is a broken individual who is super jealous and is willing to do anything to be loved. And then we meet Rodrigo Borgia. Rodrigo Borgia is basically Niccolo Machiavelli if Niccolo Machiavelli was on the enemy side. He is very cunning, he is very smart. He is the main villain of Assassin's Creed 2. He's quite interesting. I think he serves as a good comparison with Niccolo Machiavelli. And if I go back to what I said, if I go back to the metaphor or the comparison I was making with John Wick, he would be the main mafia guy, alright? He is somebody who already has experience with us. He is somebody who understands that Ezio is truly the John Wick of the game, and he does not want to mess with him. So he's trying his best to control Cesare, but Cesare, being hot-blooded young leader who is trying to make his own kingdom, he doesn't really listen to him. He is the main villain of the story, alright? Cesare is the main villain of the storyline. Cesare Borgia is bold, he makes big moves, he is trying to create his own kingdom, and he's trying to do it with any means possible. Very interesting character, and the showdown between him and Ezio is climactic. Now, talking about the characters, what made them work was also that the storyline was natural, alright? The storyline of the game was not intense, it was not overwhelming, it was simple, the pacing was alright. Some people do not like the pacing of the game. I think it's done very well, and you get the large beat of prologue, so you do not have to play any of the Assassin's Creed game to understand what's going on in the game, and then you get the simple plotline of Ezio Auditore going to Rome, trying to liberate Rome, creating his own new brotherhood, making many new allies, and finally taking over the city. That's it. You do not need to break your brains over trying to understand what kind of a plot twist you just witnessed. However, this is unfortunately not the same for the modern day storyline. The modern day storyline, they tried extra hard to be smart, and they failed miserably. I do not like at all, again, I will emphasize, the modern day storyline and any aspect of it. It's super boring, super lame. I do not like it. However, we are not here to talk about a certain aspect of the game. We are here to talk about the game in its entirety. So, other than storyline, immersion, and world building, and the characters, the game has to offer the most important thing that you want in any Assassin's Creed game, and that is parkour and combat. Alright, you get free-flowing parkour, you can jump from one rooftop to another like a ninja, and you have some control over it. There is some depth to it, and there are some interesting mods out there which you can download and try out for yourself, which enhances the amount of control you have over parkour in this game, and it flows naturally, and it really enables you to execute your stealth and take out your enemies while staying hidden from rooftops. You get types of missions when you are supposed to follow trail somebody, follow them and execute them, and you are supposed to do it in a stealthy manner, and you can blend in with your surroundings, disappear in a crowd of people, hide behind walls and obstacles. You can take out numerous enemies using different tools while remaining hidden, yet it is really not the most fun, right? For example, we have a mission where you have to infiltrate the Castello. The Castello is like the biggest stronghold of our enemies, and we can go in there quietly, avoid all the enemies, carefully rescue a certain damsel in distress, and you can see the footage of that and how tedious it can be, and maybe somebody has a lot of fun doing that. However, why would you do that when you can cut down every single enemy you meet, even if their number is infinite? Why deny your blade its purpose? You can see the combat of this game revolves around something called execution chains and counters, which makes the game superb, so enjoyable to play. It's not about how hard it is, it's about how fun it is. Now, you can counter attack most of your enemies, and you can chain kill most of your enemies. Only a few does not die from your counter attacks or your chain attacks. However, you are pretty capable to deal with them using different methods, such as a firearm or kicking them in the nuts before attacking them. Those two methods work very well. There is almost no difficulty when it comes to combat, because it's not about how many enemies you can survive. It's not Dark Souls. There's no bosses in this game. This is about the spectacle. How many enemies can you brutally take out without getting hit? What creative methods of deadly force can you apply? And the variety of those beautiful animations. There are many types of weapons at your disposal, all coming with different stats and relatively different gameplay. For example, the heavy weapons do not let you use your firearm. They come with big damage and effortless ability to take out swarms of melee combatants. Also, you can use a huge weapon, this great sword for example, or a great axe, to throw at your enemies and then pick up a different weapon. And the swords have their own perks as well, and they are relatively faster, they deal less damage, however. Then there are bludgeoning weapons, such as hammers, which come with their unique animations. You can also take the weapons of your enemies, as I've already said, if you have nothing in your hands, and wield them in combat. You can use throwing knives, fighting knives, you can use crossbows, hidden blades, spears, halberds, axes, and myriad of other implements of taking out your enemies. You are a master assassin and you're on path of vengeance. Your enemies are terrified of you. You're basically John Wick. Before there was John Wick, there was Ezio Auditore. If you compare the Assassin's Creed Mirage, for example, and I'm not gonna display the animations from that game, you can look it up yourself and see. The Mirage came out in 2023 and you only get a single weapon. No cool animations either. So, and enough about that. We are going to talk about another important gameplay feature in this game, which is why the game is called Brotherhood. You're recruiting, training, equipping and deploying your own assassins, and you're using them to take out your targets. You can also call them in fights, and you can focus them on defense or offense when you're upgrading them. You can also fight beside your troops and make them unleash their ranged hail of arrows if you need to. It's like the ultimate ability they can use. Yeah, they are cool, and I think they make the game even easier than it is. However, it's still fun, alright? The game is not about how hard it is, it's about how fun it is. Now, speaking of customization and things that you can do with these troops, is that you can apply different colors to their clothes, to their capes, and that makes them stand out a little bit, and they do not look bad at all. However, it's not too much, but you, on the other hand, the protagonist, have the ability to use numerous different outfits. You can use the main basic one, which looks really good. You can get the cape and the robes to change colors, and the color scheme. I think the purple looks awesome. I also like the red one. But there are also unique outfits in the game. You can also try to look like Altair. You can also look like Ezio when he was young and in Florence still. There is also this one, which I really like, Raiden outfit. I really like this one. It looks so out of place. And out of place in history are definitely a problem. And one of those things is Leonardo da Vinci's machines. And you can also do Leonardo da Vinci's missions. They are super fun. And taking out the tanks and taking out the flying machines and taking out the medieval Gatling guns and whatnot, it's super fun. You can like do a lot of things, a lot of different missions. And yeah. In the game you get different kinds of missions, tailing missions, assassination missions, and destroying certain machines and blueprints and stuff like that. I would recommend not to get caught up on trying to do 100 synchronization, 100% synchronization all the time, but you can do that, and if you do that you will unlock more of missions. Yeah, missions are super simple, as I already said. You can tail somebody and then execute them. However, what is making the game stand out to me, and what makes the game fun to me, is that you can take out the enemies in any way you like. Drop them from a tall building, beat them up with your fists, shoot them with a gun, whatever you please, whatever you want to do. You can also call your own troops and make them do the deed for you. So yeah, there you have it. You should give this game a try. I think it is really good. I will say that I try to avoid all the negative aspects as much as possible. I'm a person who focuses on negatives too much at times, so I try not to cover the things that would make you not to play the game. So I think it's still really good. Yeah, I'm giving the game 9 out of 10. I think it's a timeless classic, and definitely nostalgia helps me a lot here, maybe, but I'm saying that I really enjoyed it in 2025. I enjoyed it more than many modern games. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please go down and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below what you liked, what you didn't like. I'm trying to make more videos, and I'm not really good at this. I'm just starting out, and it would be a ton of help if I see more encouragement, if I see more people liking, sharing, subscribing, whatever. And yeah, take care and God bless.